For decades, the only suspect in Susan Galvin's murder was a professional clown until DNA cleared the clown 49 years later. In 2019, a genealogical database would finally reveal the real perpetrator. Welcome back to another Sunday Solves, where I bring you another solved case to prove that even time won't stop justice. Susan, 20, had just moved to Seattle from Spokane and had taken a job as a records clerk for the Seattle Police Department. In 1967, Susan was on her way to the graveyard shift when she was sexually assaulted and strangled to death in a parking garage elevator in Seattle. After dozens of interviews in the initial investigation, investigators honed in on one suspect, a professional clown seen with Susan a few days before her death, who suddenly quit his job just a few days after her murder. Investigators were never able to gather enough evidence against the clown outside of circumstantial evidence, so that never led to any arrests. In 2002, with the advancements of DNA technology, they were able to pull the killer's DNA off of Susan's clothes, but it would be more than 14 years before they were able to put it to use. In 2016, investigators were able to track down the clown from Utah and finally take and test his DNA against the DNA profile pulled from Susan's clothes, and after 4 decades, this finally ruled him out. In 2018, the arrest of the Golden State Killer and the investigative and DNA advancements used to solve that case became the new standard. Familiar DNA became a new tool that gave hope to families and investigators, especially in cases that had gone unsolved for decades. Me&23, Ancestry, and GEDmatch are a few popular websites that have a public genealogy database that not only lets users find relatives, but also help police in murder investigations. When Seattle investigators learned about the new advancements and the fact that they still had DNA from Susan's case, it put her case at the top of the list next to be tested. In 2019, Seattle police would provide the killer's DNA to Parabon Nanolabs in Western Virginia, and genealogist Cece Moore, who's well known for her work on Finding Your Roots, used the public genealogy database from GEDmatch to begin to create a family tree of the killer's DNA, and that led them to Frank Whippich. Once they had the name, they began searching for Frank so they could test his DNA against the samples pulled in 2002. Unfortunately, when they were able to track Frank down, they discovered that he had been married and was a former soldier who had died of complications from diabetes in 1987. That wouldn't stop police from confirming that this was their suspect. The Seattle police would exhume Frank's remains in 2019 and collect his DNA, and from there they were able to confirm that he was a match for the DNA pulled from Susan's clothing. Investigators learned that Frank and his wife had 2 children and later divorced in 1971, and that same year Frank was convicted of larceny. It's his only criminal history conviction on record, and he served 9 months in jail and would be arrested for a weapons offense in 1974.